The sanctuary's air, usually thick with anticipation and the fervor of worship, crackled with a different kind of energy that day. November 24, 2024, a date that would forever etch itself into the collective memory of the Potter's House and its global audience, began as any other Sunday service. Bishop T.D. Jakes, a figure of immense spiritual authority, stood at the pulpit, his voice resonating with the conviction that had drawn millions to his ministry. He was in the midst of delivering a sermon, his words weaving through the congregation when suddenly the unthinkable happened. He slumped over on his stool, his voice trailing off, his body betraying him in front of the very people he had dedicated his life to serving. The scene that unfolded was a stark departure from the usual rhythm of the service. Gasps filled the air, a collective intake of breath that mirrored the shock rippling through the congregation. People rose from their seats, a wave of concern washing over them. The live stream, which had been broadcasting his words to viewers around the world, now captured a scene of raw vulnerability. The man who had always seemed so strong, so unwavering, was now visibly struggling. In the aftermath, Bishop Jakes would describe the experience as a surreal detachment. He didn't immediately comprehend the severity of what was happening. He recalled a sensation of drifting, a gradual slipping away from the present moment. "I just kind of drifted off to sleep. I didn't know what it was," he recounted during a candid interview on the Today Show. The reality, however, was far more perilous. Unbeknownst to him, he was experiencing a massive heart attack. The journey from the pulpit to the hospital was a blur. The frantic rush of paramedics, the wail of sirens, the sterile environment of the emergency room, all of it seemed to unfold as if in a dream. It wasn't until a doctor leaned close and delivered the stark diagnosis that the gravity of the situation became clear. "You've had a massive heart attack," the doctor said, words that seemed to hang in the air, heavy with unspoken implications. The revelation was a shock, even to Jakes himself. He had not experienced the classic warning signs, the crushing chest pain, the radiating discomfort. Instead, he had simply felt a gradual descent into unconsciousness, a subtle fading away. "I didn't really realize what was happening to me on stage until I got to the hospital in an ambulance," he explained. The doctor's subsequent words were even more chilling. "5 minutes later, I'd have been dead on arrival." The medical explanation was stark and terrifying. The right side of his heart had completely stopped giving blood. He had been preaching with a significant blockage, a clot that was silently threatening his life. The adrenaline of the moment had masked the severity of his condition, but when he sat down, the adrenaline subsided, revealing the perilous state of his heart. The subsequent emergency surgery was a testament to modern medical technology. Jakes remained conscious throughout the procedure, a surreal experience in itself. "The surgeons were operating while I was awake. They never put me to sleep," he shared. "Technology, it's amazing. The ability to witness one's own life being saved, to be a participant in the very process of survival, was a profound and humbling experience." Despite the harrowing nature of the event, Jakes described a sense of peace during the moments when he felt himself slipping away. "They had to claw the microphone out of my hand," he recalled. "But in my mind, I was in a quiet, peaceful, serene, white-enveloped, cloud-enveloped space. I was on my way out." This sensation, this detachment from the physical world, was a spiritual experience, a glimpse into the realm beyond the tangible. As a man of deep faith, Jakes interpreted the experience through a spiritual lens. "It was such a privilege to stand on the other side. I think it was absolutely amazing." He credited the prayers of countless people around the world for his survival. "Even people who didn't go to my church, people everywhere sending prayers. I'm so thankful." The outpouring of support, the collective energy of prayer, was a testament to the impact of his ministry and the connection he shared with people from all walks of life. The news of his heart attack sent shockwaves through his family. His wife, Sarita Jakes, who had been his steadfast partner through every challenge, was devastated. "She held my hand and I could see the tears in her eyes. She said, 'You scared me half to death.' The vulnerability of the moment, the realization of how close he had come to the end, was a stark reminder of the fragility of life. Jakes himself acknowledged that he had been pushing himself too hard. "I was running on fumes. I was preaching, traveling, leading, and barely resting. I kept telling myself I could keep going, but my body finally said enough." The heart attack was a wake-up call, a stark reminder that even the most resilient individuals have limits. The recovery period was a time of introspection and reflection. Jakes contemplated his life, his purpose, and the message that God was conveying through this experience. He began to reassess his priorities, placing greater emphasis on health, rest, and balance. "God gave me a second chance, and I don't take that lightly," he said. "I'm making changes in my life. I'm eating better, resting more, and being intentional about my time." The response from his congregation and supporters was overwhelming. Letters, emails, and messages poured in from around the world. People shared their own stories of survival, testimonies of healing, and words of encouragement. The outpouring of love and support was humbling, a reminder of the profound connection he had with his audience. One particular letter resonated deeply with him. It was from an elderly woman who had watched his sermon from her hospital bed. She wrote, "Bishop, I saw you fall and I started praying. I asked God to keep you because the world still needs your voice." Jakes was moved to tears by her words. It's moments like that when you realize how much your work impacts people. It's not just about preaching, it's about touching lives, giving hope, and reminding people that God is still in control. Jakes emphasized that he does not fear death, but he now has a greater appreciation for life. "Every day is a gift. Every sermon I preach now comes from a place of deep gratitude. Every hug, every smile, every moment with my family, I cherish it all." The near-death experience had heightened his awareness of the preciousness of each moment. His ministry has also been transformed by the experience. "I've always preached about faith, but now I live it in a different way. I know firsthand what it means to trust God completely. When you're standing at the edge of eternity, you realize that nothing else matters except your relationship with Him." The abstract concept of faith had become a tangible reality, a lived experience. Looking ahead, Jakes is filled with a renewed sense of purpose. He plans to continue his ministry, but with a different approach. "I'm not going to burn myself out. I'm going to pace myself and be obedient to the rhythms that God has set for my life." The heart attack had served as a powerful reminder of the importance of balance and self-care. He hopes that his story will serve as a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration for others. Take care of yourself, listen to your body, and never underestimate the power of prayer, he advised. The message was clear: prioritize your health, heed the warning signs, and never underestimate the power of faith. For now, Bishop T.D. Jakes is simply grateful to be alive, to have been given a second chance. He stands before his congregation with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to continue his ministry, to preach, to teach, and to live fully in the grace that has been bestowed upon him. The experience has deepened his faith, strengthened his resolve, and given him a profound appreciation for the gift of life. He walks forward, not with fear, but with a profound sense of gratitude and a renewed commitment to serving God and His people. The echo of the gasps, the frantic rush of help, and the silent, serene space he briefly inhabited all serve as a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the power of divine intervention. The heart attack was not an end, but a new beginning, a chapter in his life that has brought him closer to God and deepened his understanding of the human experience. The man who stood on the edge of eternity now stands firmly rooted in the present, his voice resonating with a renewed sense of purpose, his heart filled with gratitude, and his spirit strengthened by the grace that has carried him through.